Hi, and welcome back to the House of the Dragon Explained series. This is a series of character analysis videos for all major characters of our new show. I won't go into endgame stuff, and I also won't spoil any major events, but be warned, there are likely going to be a few minor spoilers in this video. We talked about Alicent Hightower for the Greens a couple of days ago, so it's time to switch back to the Blacks, and in this case, the Sea Snake, Corlys Velaryon. Let's do it! So who is Corlys Velaryon? To kick things off, let's hear it from Archmaester Gildain, the author of Fire and Blood. 79 years of age, he had served 4 kings and a queen, sailed to the ends of the earth, raised House Velaryon to unprecedented levels of wealth and power, married a princess who might have been a queen, fathered dragon riders, built towns and fleets, proved his valor in times of war and his wisdom in times of peace. The 7 kingdoms would never see his like again. Sounds like quite a man, and that is only right. Corlys Velaryon is a legendary character in the world of Ice and Fire. Most definitely the most legendary sailor. He's been pretty much all around the world, from Yeti to Ashai to Karth. He was even sailing beyond the wall. He's the greatest sea lord the 7 kingdoms have ever seen. The Sea Snake, which is his nickname as well as the name of his ship, has seen it all, and the treasures he found during his expeditions catapulted House Velaryon into becoming the richest house in all of Westeros. Yes, even richer than House Lannister or House Hightower. After his grandfather died, Corlys took over and became the head of House Velaryon. He used his wealth to build a completely new castle at Driftmark, the High Tide. He also built 2 towns, Hull and Spicetown, which were both very important in terms of trade, which in turn of course made House Velaryon even richer. Both cities become very important in the upcoming war as well, but that's something for season 2 or even 3. We get a little glimpse of the High Tide in the trailer, by the way. Corlys also becomes the Master of Ships, Lord Admiral at some point, under King Jaehaerys Targaryen, so we are definitely talking about not only one of the most famous and richest, but also one of the most influential and powerful people in the 7 kingdoms during this time period. Corlys goes on to marry Rhaenys Targaryen, the queen who never was, and together they have 2 children, Laenor and Laena. I'll make a separate video for Rhaenys. She's another incredible character and there's a very good reason for her nickname, but more soon. After King Viserys' wife Aemma Arryn dies, Corlys wanted him to marry his daughter Laena, but as we know, Viserys marries Alicent. It could have all been so easy. Instead, Rhaenyra married Corlys' son Laenor, and a year later, Daemon married his daughter Laena Velaryon. After King Viserys dies, Corlys sides with Rhaenyra, the Blacks. That is pretty much all I can say about Corlys without spoiling things. So let's move on to our next point. What can we expect from Corlys Velaryon? To put it simple, one of the coolest, most badass characters George created. If we only count main characters, Corlys is pretty high up there as my favorite one for this time frame. It'll be very refreshing to have a whole new house in the mix. Just thinking about Ramin Djawadi's new House Velaryon theme gets me really excited. I hope they did the High Tide at Driftmark justice. The teaser trailer already shows that it has quite some scope to it, which is something that I'm yearning for after Game of Thrones' half-assed versions of Highgarden and Casterly Rock. But let's focus on Corlys. The amount of world building this show can go for with this character is incredible. The places we could see, the amount of lore that could make it to the screen is insane. As I said, the man has been almost everywhere. Given that House of the Dragon aims for a completely different type of storytelling with multiple timelines, I would absolutely love it if we get a few glimpses of Corlys Velaryon's voyages. For example, let's say he's telling a story about what it was like in Ashai to his children. The camera could cut to that legendary place with him doing a voiceover while we would follow him roaming around that place. A live-action Ashai would also be the opportunity to include some of George's magical aspects, something that we're pretty short on in House of the Dragons, despite the dragons. We know that HBO is working on a Corlys Velaryon spin-off show. That show would obviously focus on those voyages, but to really build some hype and create interest, they have to deliver first. The audience has to be invested in this character, but it would be almost harder to screw it up, to be honest. Corlys is an intelligent, adventurous and proud man. He has all the makings to become a fan favorite character. His incredible life offers so much in terms of dialogue. I can't wait to hear him talk about his experiences. Experiences which of course make him a very valuable ally in this upcoming war. His bond with his wife Rhaenys Targaryen is something that I'm very excited to see as well. They are very powerful characters, very unique and complex, and I hope this translates onto the screen. They could make for a very dynamic power couple. We will get scenes of the Great Council at Harrenhal, which is going to make for a very tense plot. Corlys uses his wealth and power to show off, and it looked like a war could break out at any moment. Without spoiling things, you can also expect Corlys to be a part of a handful of big action scenes in this season. I wasn't a fan of the later seasons of Game of Thrones, but I thought the sea battle between the Greyjoys in season 7 was fun. We could see something very similar, but bigger this season. All in all, Corlys Velaryon is a character that could play a major role in the future of this Game of Thrones cinematic universe they're trying to build. If House of the Dragon does a great job, a spin-off about the Sea Snake and his incredible life is a no-brainer. Just like with the other characters, I hope this show really takes its time in the beginning and dives deep into the lore. I hope Corlys Velaryon's scenes have its storytime feel to it. I want to know it all. I want to hear what it's like in Yeti. How are the people there? These people are ruled by a god emperor, and there are hundreds of princes all throughout the continent who rule over separate realms. It's quite chaotic. Then we of course have Ashai, which, well, who wouldn't want to see or even just hear more about Ashai? Again, I keep talking about world building in this video, but that's just how unique that character is. We could learn so much through him, and I hope we will. Anyways, let's get to our last point for today's video. Who will play Corlys Velaryon? That will be the 57-year-old Steve Toussaint. I haven't heard of him before, but he's been in the industry since 1994, so he definitely has experience. The casting team over at HBO has done an incredible job on the original show, so there's nothing that leads me to believe that that has changed with the new show now. Let's talk about the obvious. Yes, a Valyrian character is going to be played by a black man. This spiked quite a lot of heated debates all over the internet, but it's not impossible. It's not non-canon right from the get-go. Lesser Valyrian houses, such as the Velaryons, were known to breed with non-Valyrians. Who's to say that this wasn't the case here? And there were Velaryons marrying Summer Islanders or Pentoshi. But I'm not stupid either. Of course, HBO also did this for more diversity. But is it really that groundbreaking? George is involved. I really believe that he has creative control for all of these new shows. If he's cool with it, then why can't we? I really have no problem here, to be honest. I think he looks badass. I really like the dreads and it doesn't change anything for me. Corlys is still Corlys. Content is king. If he turns out to be one of the best characters, and there's a very high chance that is the case, I say, why bother? I think it's a pity that we can't properly talk about stuff like this anymore. And I avoided this topic for quite a while now. It's either you're a Nazi or you're a woke leftist. Well, fuck that. Why can't we just talk about it like normal human beings? It's not always just black and white, man. I want to grow a community where people can just speak their minds. I want to have zero toxicity here. Westeros has always been my escape place from the real world. I can definitely do without that. But that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to continue with Sir Criston Cole next week. Take care and see us later.